In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. My name is Archbishop Gregory. I am the head of the Synod of the Genuine Orthodox Church of America. And I would like to speak to you today about an old calendar group in Greece which is known as the Mateites, taken after their first leader or initiator of this church, called Bishop Matthew. Now, in 1924, the Church of Greece changed the official calendar of the church from the Julian calendar for the Manaean to the Gregorian calendar for the Manaean, and not for the Paschalian. And it caused a great uproar, and millions, some say from 1 to 2 million of the Greek people did not want to follow in this new path. And so the people did not have bishops for 11 years, and they were served by priests only. After 1 year, God showed a great sign to the people of Greece, the sign of the cross appearing over the Church of the Exaltation. This happened on the Exaltation of the Cross in 1925, and it was a great sign that this was a good resistance, a good effort to protest the change of calendar. And so they were up to 2 million, which is like 1/10 of the population of Greece, did not follow their bishops and separated from them. And this was a movement by lay people and priests. No bishops followed them. One of the priests was a priest monk from the Holy Mountain called Matthew. Now, I want to mention a few things about this person, because you have to know the personality of this person, his reputation on Mount Athos, the opinion of the fathers of Mount Athos, because that's where he was made a monk. There is where he was ordained. There he served. And it's good to understand these things. So, we want to speak about this group first because they have caused a lot of confusion. They have confused a lot of people, and they are the first schism among the old calendars in Greece. And so we went to the Holy Mountain, to where this Father Matthew lived. And he lived in Katunakia. Now here's a picture of the Holy Mountain. And this is an aerial shot of the Holy Mountain. This is the southern tip, and Katunakia is at the bottom, right here, the southernmost part. And here is a picture of Katunakia. It is the desert parts of Mount Athos. It is the skeets. Well, when Father Matthew was living there, it was the turn of the century. In 1920, he had a synodia. He was a priest with one disciple, and his disciple was Father Damaskinos. In 1924, the calendar was changed, and there was a big uproar in Greece, to say the least. And he was tempted, should I go to help the people, or should I remain on the Holy Mountain? he decided, as all monks should, to ask his spiritual father to see if this was from God. Now, the stories that we hear, we did not take at face value, but we went to the Holy Mountain, to Katanakya, which is not easy to go to, and found the very synodia that was started by Father Matthew. Now, the disciple there, who is now abbot, is Father Augustine. His abbot was Father Damaskinos, who was a disciple of Father Matthew. And the story is identical to all that we have heard. That he went to his spiritual father and he said to him, "Is it God's will that I go and help the people in Athens and around Greece and serve for them, since they have no bishops, and to ordain priests for them, 1 million people? This is a tremendous task to serve so many people." But there were many priests also. So he had this idea in his head to go out, to leave the Holy Mountain. Now, one should know, when a person goes to the Holy Mountain, becomes a monk, he is separating himself from the world, and usually, unless he is told by his spiritual father that this is God's will for him, he remains on the Holy Mountain until the end of his life. You go to the Holy Mountain to leave the world and to die there. It is the garden of the Virgin Mary. So, this Father Matthew goes to his spiritual father and asks him, is this good for me? Should I leave? Is this God's will? His spiritual father, in a gentle way, told him, quote, "My son, you have made progress in your monastic life here. You are a priest and you have a disciple and are able to advance more in the spiritual life. However, you are a simple man, and the world is very complicated. If you leave the Holy Mountain, you will be tricked and you will fall. My son, do not leave." Quote unquote. More or less, this is the very words that were told over and over again of what the spiritual father told Father Matthew. Well, Father Matthew did not obey. He was a disobedient monk. And after a while, after he thought about it, he decided that he is going to leave, disregarding the number one spiritual axiom of all monastics, meaning obedience is life, disobedience is death. They tell another story, which we heard again from the abbot of the synodia that Father Matthew started, that was told to him by the disciple of Father Matthew, who became the abbot, Father Damaskinos, that Father Matthew was ridiculed at one time when he encountered a spiritual man, a spiritual monk on the Holy Mountain, because oftentimes he would look out through Katanakya onto the sea, and he would see a ship about 3 or 4 or 5 miles away, and the ship is very, very small. And he would say in front of the gathering of the monks, fathers, don't look out there, don't look at that ship, because there's women there." And the spiritually discerning father one time said to the monks who heard him say this, he said, "See that man? see that monk? He is going to die in the midst of women. He's going to end his life in the midst of women. Which indeed came to pass, because when he left the holy mountain, where did he settle? He settled at the convent of Keratea. There is a canon which forbids such things. But as I will explain to you, the Matthewites care very little for observing the canons, although they tout that they are the most strict of all the old calendars in Greece. Okay, so now this Father Matthew goes into the world, and he is serving the people of Greece. 11 years pass. In 1935, 3 bishops leave the official church. And they are Bishop Germanos of Demetrias, Chrysostom of Florina, and Chrysostom of Zakynthos. 1935, they leave. And they are threatened with persecution. And so they hastily acknowledge that the fact that danger is coming, and that they are going to ordain some priest monks to become bishops, to help these millions of people continue in their resistance. I use the word resistance, opposition to the official church and the way they are going. And the last bishop they ordained was this priest monk from Mount Athos called Matthew. And granted, they did not know precisely how this man came to be a priest monk in the world, because had they known, I truly believe they would not have ordained him.